Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The nanny state. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Over the past few years, the Obama administration has greatly increased the government's role in your life. Today, Republicans in the House tried to block funding for the huge Obamacare entitlement, and a showdown over that will come in the next 10 days. It's complicated, but opponents of Obamacare want to shut down funding for the entire government if money for Obamacare is not denied by Congress. And as we reported last night, the Senate president will never go along, so Obamacare will kick in on October 1st, no matter what. But Republicans aren't going down easily. On another front, the GOP wants to cut the record spending on food stamps, 5%, over the next 10 years. Yesterday, the vote in the House was 217 to 210 to do that. But again, even though the cut is small, the Senate and the president will not go along. When President Obama took office, 40 million Americans were living in poverty. 4 years later, 46 million are poor, according to the U.S. Census. This year, 2013, the feds will receive the most tax money in history, about $2.5 trillion. But even with all that cash, feds are running a deficit of almost $650 billion a year. So you can see how much money the Obama administration is spending, much of it on social programs. But despite all the entitlement spending, the poverty rate continues to rise. And it's not only the poor who are suffering. In the past 4 years, American workers have not gained anything in salary, as the median income remains stagnant. So while prices go up, your salary does not. But rich people, they're in good shape because their stock investments are rising. The cold truth is, President Obama's vision of income equality is a failure. Obamacare will make it harder for small business to hire regular folks. And if you raise the minimum wage, as the president wants to do, fewer teenagers and young people will be hired. Here's an interesting fact. Just 3% of Americans over the age of 25 make minimum wage. So if you raise it, fewer young people will get into the job market. Talking Points believes President Obama has to understand the stats I just gave you. He has to know his policies aren't working. Yet liberal ideology is so invested, pardon the pun, in taking money away from successful Americans and giving it to those who don't have very much, that they can't stop, even when liberal policies are hammering the poor and working classes. Do we all understand what's going on here? The Democratic Party will never admit that. It can't. It needs to tell Americans who are struggling that handouts will help them to get their votes. And while that may be true in the short term, in the long term, the nanny state is harmful. Cradle-to-grave entitlements weaken people and the nation. And that's a memo. Now,